Are you learning English? Great! Let's learn English with this very interesting story. Today we're going to learn why reading is so important, not just for your English but for your life. Many people say English is hard. They say I can't speak or I always forget. But here's the twist: they don't read. That's the problem. They try grammar rules. They memorize lists. They watch videos. But they don't open a book. Not even a small one. And that's where the real change begins, with reading. Now here's a question. What if reading is not boring? What if it's not difficult? What if reading is the key that opens the door? A door to better vocabulary. A door to clear speaking. A door to understanding fast English. Think about that. Just one simple habit can change everything. Just one. People think they need talent to speak English. They think they need a perfect memory. But no, that's not true. They just need to read. Slowly. Every day, even 5 minutes is enough. But wait, here comes another twist. Reading is not just for learning English. Reading makes you strong. It builds your confidence. It gives you ideas. It changes your brain. It teaches you how to think in English, not translate. So the question is, are you ready to change? Are you ready to try something different? Because if you are, then today's the day, not next week. Not next year. Now, this is not just a story. This is your beginning. A beginning that starts with one page. Are you ready? Maybe you tried before. Maybe you studied hard. You watched videos, listened to podcasts, repeated sentences, and still nothing. You hear English and it's fast. You read a sentence and it's confusing. You want to speak and your mind goes blank. It feels like a wall, a big heavy wall between you and English. You ask yourself, why can't I remember? You study, but the words disappear. You practice, but you freeze. You feel stuck. You start thinking, maybe I'm not good at languages. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe English is not for me. And you start to quit slowly, quietly. That's the real danger, not failure, but giving up without knowing it. Here's the twist. The problem is not you. The problem is the method. You're trying to run before you can walk. You're jumping to speaking without building a base. And reading, yes, reading is that base. It's the strong foundation you never built, but nobody told you that. Nobody said reading is practice. Nobody said reading trains your brain. They only said speak fast, talk like a native. So you tried. And when it didn't work, you felt broken. Now let's be honest. Reading sounds slow. It sounds simple, but that's exactly why it works, because it gives you time. Time to think, time to connect, time to grow. You don't need pressure. You don't need to speak fast. You need to understand. And understanding comes from reading. So if you feel tired, you are not alone. If you feel like giving up, many people feel the same. But here's the question. What if the solution is not harder, but easier? What if the answer was always in front of you on the page? You don't need more apps. You don't need more tricks. You just need a quiet moment and a good sentence. That's where progress begins. That's where confidence grows. And that's where your story changes. Are you still with me? Good. Because now it's time to learn the real secret. Are you ready for the truth? Here is the truth. Reading is not extra. It's not something nice to do. It's not something only smart people enjoy. Reading is the key. The real key. The one everyone forgets. When you read in English, you learn words not from a list, but from real situations. You see the word, you see the sentence, and your brain says, "Yes, I understand this now." You don't memorize. You connect. And that's the secret. You don't need to remember because reading helps you feel the language. You start to notice the patterns. You start to feel what sounds right. That's not guessing. That's real learning. And here's another twist: reading also helps your speaking. Yes, speaking. Because when you read, your brain gets used to English. You hear the rhythm. You feel the flow. You learn how ideas move. Later, when you speak, those patterns come back automatically. You don't need to say perfect sentences. You just need to say real ones. Sentences you read before. Sentences your brain already knows. That's how fluency begins, one sentence at a time. And the best part? You choose what you read. You choose stories that make you smile. Articles that open your mind. Books that show you new ideas. No pressure. No teacher. Just you. And the page. And every time you read, something changes, you grow. You get stronger. You feel proud. You begin to say, "I can do this." And that's the real win. Not perfect English, but powerful confidence. So let me ask you this. What if reading is not just learning English? What if reading is building your new life one page at a time? Now the choice is yours. Will you keep waiting? Or will you start today with one simple sentence? Let me tell you something true. Emma is 26. She lives in a small town. She works all day. She comes home tired. But every night, she reads one page, just one. No big words. No grammar books. Just a story in English, something she likes. At first, she didn't understand much. But she kept going. One page, one day, 1 week, 1 month, and then something changed. She started understanding more. She started speaking more. She didn't need to think so hard. English began to feel natural, not because she studied harder, but because she read. Then there's Carlos. He thought English was impossible. He tried for years. Nothing worked. Then one day, his friend gave him a comic book in English. Simple pictures, simple words. He laughed. He read another one, then another. 3 months later, he could watch movies without subtitles. Not everything, but enough to feel proud. The twist. He never studied grammar again. He just read more comics. And let's talk about someone famous, Elon Musk. Many people know him for Tesla and rockets, but do you know what he did as a child? He read all the time science books, fiction, anything he could find. He says reading gave him imagination and ideas. Reading made him who he is. You see, the pattern is clear. Real people, Real growth, no special school, no expensive program. Just one habit: reading. Slowly, consistently, every day. So maybe you think I don't have time. But Emma had no time. Maybe you think I'm not smart, but Carlos thought the same. Maybe you say, I don't know where to start. That's okay. Just start small. A short story. A short article, 1 sentence today, 2 tomorrow, because here's the truth. The world is full of people who change their lives by reading in English. So why not you? Why not now? This is your moment. Yes, yours. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect English. You don't need to wait for Monday or a new year or a better day. You just need today and one decision. Pick something to read: a story, a comic, a short article, something simple, something fun. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. That's normal. That's part of learning. Use a dictionary if you want, or just guess, but don't stop. And here's the twist. It's not about reading fast. It's about reading every day. 1 sentence is enough. 1 paragraph is progress. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow. Say, I start now, because every time you read, you grow. Even when it feels slow, even when it feels boring, even when nobody sees it, the change is happening inside you. So try this. Read 1 page tonight. Read out loud. Listen to your voice. Feel the words. Then close the book and smile. Because you did it. You showed up. You practiced. And that means more than you think. Say this to yourself. I am not weak. I am not slow. I am learning. I am growing. Say it again. Let your brain hear it. Let your heart believe it. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are ready right now. So what will you read today?